Your significant other just revealed their true form to you. You knew already, and are trying to hide the fact that it was a big reason why you were dating them. Elliot had known this moment was coming for a while now. He'd even practiced looking surprised, running through how he'd react, shock, maybe a touch of wonder, with just a dash of relief. But nothing could have prepared him for the real thing. Now, as he sat in their small, dimly lit living room, he tried to process what he was seeing. Mari stood before him, only she didn't look like the Mari who made him laugh with her terrible puns or who could spot a constellation he'd never even heard of. No, this Mari was tall and delicate, her skin a cool, dusky shade, her eyes narrowed and gleaming, more fox-like than human. A cascade of tails flowed from her back, curling like smoke, each one moving in its own rhythm, tipping and flicking like silent metronomes. It was stunning, beautiful in a way he hadn't even expected. And he was trying very, very hard not to grin like an idiot. Elliot. Her voice came out in a whisper, carrying an edge of something heavy and vulnerable. I don't know how to explain. I didn't want to deceive you, I swear. I thought I could just be human for a while. And then I met you. She hugged herself, almost disappearing into the shadows her tails cast. I didn't mean for this to get complicated. She looked away, her shoulders slumping. Elliot's heart clenched, and he wanted to reach out, pull her into a hug, but he forced himself to hold back. He'd ruin it if he acted too soon. Instead, he kept his face blank, as if he were still processing, still reeling. So, this is you? He fumbled the words, forcing them out slowly, as if they were a struggle. Yes. She looked at him, her eyes filled with worry. This is my true form, and if you want, I can leave. I'll understand. The thought of her leaving made his chest tighten, and it took everything he had not to blurt out, please don't. Instead, he took a shaky breath. You don't have to go. Mari blinked, clearly surprised. You mean that? I mean, it's a lot. He shrugged, reaching for the right tone. But I care about you. You don't need to be, fully human for that. The relief in her expression was so raw it nearly took his breath away. She stepped toward him, her features softening, her fingers tracing a gentle line down his cheek. He could feel her warmth, a light heat that reminded him of summer nights. You're really not afraid? He couldn't keep up the act any longer. He let out a small chuckle, trying to make it sound self-conscious. Honestly? I kind of knew already. Her eyes went wide, and for a moment, her tails froze mid-flick. You knew? Yeah. He grinned, scratching the back of his head, feeling a little sheepish. You had slip-ups. Like that time your fox ears popped out when you tried mochi ice cream for the first time. She stared at him, and then, unexpectedly, she laughed, a sound that filled the room, chasing away whatever tension had been hovering between them. All this time, I thought I'd been so careful. Well, maybe you were. To everyone else. He smiled, reaching for her hand, feeling her fingers, oddly cool against his. I guess I just figured it out. He squeezed her hand gently. I like you, Mari. Every part of you, human or not. She looked at him like he was something she didn't quite understand, a little wonder in her eyes. And that was fair. Elliot knew it probably wasn't normal, being so utterly fascinated by a secret he'd barely even known the details of until now. Mari stepped closer, her voice barely above a whisper. Then I guess there's no more pretending, is there? No more pretending, he said, feeling a weight he didn't realize he'd been carrying finally fall away. She leaned into him, and he wrapped his arms around her, feeling the warmth of her against him, marveling at the quiet joy of knowing exactly who he was holding.